Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl, the Sky Zone. Guys, happy birthday. I want to start off by saying happy birthday to our dear brother. I haven't been on in a while since our New Year's party. Happy New Year to everyone that's out there, guys. I'm not going to pay too much attention to everyone in the chat. If you should happen to join me in this wee hours of this reading, I decided to go live just so that it can be something different because this is the final part of the reading of Soulacoaster. Okay, so if you happen to step into this here read into this live and I don't see you, please know that I'm not ignoring you. I am just trying to keep it here and steady for the replay. Okay, Nene, I see you have creeped up in there. Hello, honey, how are you? Look, hey, Nene. Um, Nene, I don't know if you heard my disclaimer, but I'm going to go ahead with this last part of the reading of Soulacoaster, okay, guys? And if you haven't, put a playlist together where it all just go, where they all be in one little spot together. Let me put this down. Y'all see I got some ice cream, icicles in there, and I don't need them doggone icicles all up in there. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, guys. Oh, I look so juicy on this doggone screen this time. Y'all, I'm trying to lose some weight, okay? All right, guys, this is the final read, okay? Let me get into it for the playback. Hello, 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 everyone. I'm not ignoring you all, okay? Love you all. Okay, this one here is called Still Waiting. The beginning of a new year. Isn't that something? Now, how about that, guys? This is the last chapter, and it starts off talking about New Year. Oh my God! I swear this book is like a prophet. It's a prophecy. I swear to goodness. 2007. The hearings, the depositions, the postponements. Long years gone by, and the trial still hanging over my head. Still praying. Still keeping my chin up. What to do? What should I do? Should I make more music? Should I just let this chew me up and get the best of me? What should I do? Make more music. Redouble my efforts. I made an album called Double Up. It dropped in the spring of 2007, 5 months after my 40th birthday. The title track had me reunited with Snoop. Okay, the dog father. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Come on, it's only one Snoop Dogg, okay? On the other tracks, I hooked up with Swiss Beats, Nelly, Chameleonaire, T.I., T-Pain, Usher, Huey, Ludacris, Kid Rock, Palo the Don, and Keisha Cole. There's a story behind the first single. It's called I'm a Flirt. It's the remix. Originally, I done the song for Bow Wow's album, okay? And it was supposed to be his second single. But when I got a copy of the album, the song wasn't listed anywhere. Turns out they made it a bonus track. I loved the song and I didn't want it to go to waste. So I decided to remix it and do my own version. I called in T.I. and T-Pain. Come on, man, come on, get on the track with me. And they blessed the record. From a bonus track on someone else's album, I'm a Flirt remix, man, it went to #1 on the rap chart. Then #2 on the hip hop chart. Then on the R&B charts. And then #12 on the Hot 200 chart. Man, come on now. They don't call me the king for nothing. Double Up hit #1. And the collaborations, including Same Girl, the duet I did with Usher, they were big hits. But two songs that got lots of attention were the ones where I once again messed up with the metaphors. The Zoo was my very own version of the film Jurassic Park. Girl, I got you so wet, it's like a rainforest. Like Jurassic Park, except I'm your sexosaurus, baby. You and me hopping like two kangaroos, rattling and mooring out here in these woods. The other song was Sex Planet. Jupiter, Pluto, Venus, and Saturn. I'm leaving Earth to explore your galaxy. 10 to 0, blast off, here we go. We're climaxing till we reach Mercury. He's saying that those was the two songs that he didn't like. He didn't really care for those metaphors. He's saying he messed up on those. I mean, who would ever thought though? Because I never paid no attention to that. For reasons I can't explain, the song became a big hit though. Okay, they love the music with indie rockers and everything. Okay, it made number one. It was number one on the top 10 list in 2007. On the street though, the people that on the street though, the song that people were talking about was Real Talk. It was raw, it was funny, it was real. I made my first virtual video for Real Talk. Low budget and raw and straight to the point. You know, people like it something like that sometimes. As year went on by and the trial drew closer, my frustrations sometimes got the best of me, man. They really did. I played for calmness and acceptance, and sometimes calmness and acceptance entered my heart. Other times, though, like a caged beast, I got tired of being behind bars of judgment. I was weary of folks assuming they knew everything about my life, assuming I had to be guilty, and people thinking the worst of me. I was just tired of it all, man. I really was, you know. At the same time, I was listening to up and coming singers copying my style, from the sound of my voice to the type of songs I write and sing. I mean, you know, that's okay. In the beginning, I bit off the styles of Charlie Wilson and Aaron Hall, just like Ray Charles bit off of Nat King Cole style at the start of his career. Like everyone else, you know, we gonna, you know, take a little bit off each other. We gonna learn from each other. We need role models until we develop our own music personalities. I understand that. But everybody starts out singing what they know, what played in their houses or in their neighborhoods or, you know, on the radio. I mean, it's just the way it is. I don't make the rules up. I just go, I just abide by them. In the beginning, you know, it was kind of flattering. You know what I'm saying? Look at them. They over there, you know, Trey Songz over there, Ty Dolla $ign, you know what I'm saying? They over there trying to do it like me. But you know what? I was flattered by it. I ain't gonna lie. I really was, you know. But then it came annoying as hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait a minute. You trying to do it like Kels. It's only one me. Can't nobody do it like me. You know, when certain singers started creating press for themselves by bad mouthing me, you know, I mean, make your come up, but you ain't got to make your come up dogging me out. You know what I'm saying? Suddenly, they were telling me what to do. Ain't that about a bitch? How you gonna tell me what to do and I'm the one who showed you? You stealing and mimicking me, nigga. From the first day when I was starting out until this very day, I would, man, never in a million years would I tell Stevie Wonder what to do with his music. I have too much respect for that man. He came before me. He paved the way for every singer that came after him. You will never hear me criticizing anything done by Stevie Wonder or Marvin Gaye or Sam Cooke or Curtis Mayfield. Man, they taught me and inspired me. So, you know, like when the press asks for my reaction, you know what I'm saying? They always try to put you on the spot and try to catch you up, try to get you to say stuff about other artists. Man, I wouldn't even discuss it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't want to play into the hands of the media with they hungry, you know, up and comers. You know what I'm saying? Looking for a story. But wait a minute, Kels, one reporter asked me. This young singer has been giving his opinion of you. Shouldn't you respond? No, because opinions should be born out of the right motive. Those opinions you're discussing only come from people looking for publicity for themselves. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say, he asked. Oh, and another thing, elephants don't swat flies. You know that's his saying too, okay? I wasn't looking for publicity. I was still in search of new musical galaxies. You know what I'm saying? The 1996 documentary When We Were Kings had a powerful impact on me, okay? The film captured the intensity before the heavyweight championship battle between George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. The film showcased champions of the world, okay? Ali and Foreman. They was the biggest champions of the music world, okay? James Brown, B.B. King and Wayne Henderson, those were the champions on the music side, like Muhammad Ali and George Foreman was on the champion side. These champions drew attention back to Africa, the motherland. I'll never forget the footage of Ali traveling all over Africa with children, adults, everyone screaming, Ali, Bombaye, Ali, Bombaye. Ali's obvious love for Africans and their unshakable faith, confidence, and deep ancestral love for him were inspiring, man. I mean, it was like a connection to the solar, okay, to the universe. As a son of Africa, I wanted some of that. I wanted to feel, the motherland, touch it, experience it, and sing about it, okay? I just wanted to have a connection. I felt a deep spiritual connection with a place I had never been. I wanted to integrate its rhythms, its harmonies, its music, with my music. You know what I'm saying? I wanted it to all become one. I had hungered to go to Africa. I always wanted to be there. I wanted to see the motherland for myself, but I had never had the opportunity. And so with the court stuff and all that and the case coming up and all the publicity and people, talking all that yin ya, I couldn't travel outside the country because my passport had been taken away. I mean, I don't really like to fly no goddamn way, but hell, they took my passport, and so I couldn't really go no damn where. You know what I'm saying? So I heard that, I was known there, though. That kind of messed me up. I'm like, damn, they know me in Africa? Damn. But I didn't feel this, the time was right for a visit. You know what I'm saying? Even though I wanted to go, I also felt I needed to make an African album first. Like, let me just get something together so they can, be, relatable to me, more relatable when I go. So I heard a lot about the problems in some parts of Africa, the poverty, the war, the lack of things, the things that we take for granted over here in the U.S., you know what I'm saying? Clean water, for example, I also was aware of the spread of the fatal diseases like AIDS and malaria, the ideal of viruses and how they spread and infect people got me kind of thinking, like, what if there was a positive virus, something, that if people got infected with, it wouldn't spread, it would spread healing instead of sickness, In a way, that's what music is. It's a virus of hope and joy. It can bring healing by bringing people together. That's what the world need. That's the type of virus that the world need. So I set out to write the songs for what I call the Africa album. I knew that I wanted to bring healing and love to my African brothers and sisters, a family that I never, met yet. I'm a method writer. I have the remedies to pain, heartache, love, healing, whatever, okay? To prepare for a record, what I call the Africa album, I bought every DVD and book on Africa I could find. I took them to the studio and I played them around me, all around me, okay? I put posters up, maps up of Africa. I hung everything on the wall so I can have visions of everything around me. I had my assistant convert the chocolate factory into Africa. The chocolate factory, that's my studio, but I made that the Africa studio. We brought in grass, sands, and trees and everything. I really had to have this visualization of Africa to make it more real, more, authentic and everything as I was coming up with this album. So everyone came to the studio They had to dress in safari gear, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted it to feel like we was really in Africa. I wanted to bring as many props in as I could, okay? So I could get deep into the spirit as I sang. Everywhere I looked, I saw Africa. I tapped into the spirit and I felt all the energy, the tragedy, the joy, and the sadness that my ancestors had experienced. Oh, y'all, I'm getting a chill up my body as I'm reading it, Lord. The rhythms came out, okay? The rhythms of melodies, they started emerging. The harmonies fell from the sky. Don't ask me, wow, how, but I was singing songs with sounds entirely new yet incredibly old and strangely familiar. Like, how was I able to go ooh, and make these here songs and they just sounded so natural, but I've never heard them before. My idea was to give Africa album away to Africa or away in Africa, like a free vaccine or a vacation or a way to spread healing as well as inspiration. Needless to say, the record company did not support the idea of an album of all inspirational music, African music. It wanted me to get back to the sexual songs that are my trademark. Get back to the bumping and grinding. Get back to the touchy feely. Get back to lustful notes that reminded them of sexuality. It also didn't understand the concept of giving away music. So for a while, the record sat on the shelves in the factories, in the chocolate factory. You know, I couldn't, they wouldn't give me the money to get the album out. Excuse me. But little by little, I managed to get a lot of Africa album out over the years. The songs, Let Your Light Shine, that song, it was released to raise money for victims of Hurricane Katrina, okay? That never got talked about. Nobody told you that. Only when you read this book here, you will know certain things about what I've done throughout the years. A tragedy that affected some of everyone, Hurricane Katrina, and it affected me. I decided to help raise money. I got to perform the song on the BET telethon, but I could barely get through the song, thinking about what happened to all the people in New Orleans. Heal It and the song Victory, those two songs was epic on the album, a collection of my inspirational songs. They were originally written for the Africa album. It was like living in an African dream, but it was nothing like the dream that came true when I actually visited the motherland. The trial, May 9th, 2008. The final legal nightmare was about to go underway. Amid all the media hoopla, the day was finally here, the day of reckoning. 2 weeks before the trial, though, a woman had popped out of nowhere with a new accusation. Ain't that about a business of motherfucking need? Ain't that what the hell? Our private investigators checked her out. They advised me that she was not a credible witness. Nonetheless, my attorneys, they were nervous. Man, they were nervous as hell. This was the first time I saw their asses sweat. I'm looking at them like, wait a minute, hold on. Do you know something I don't know? They said they thought I should cop a plea. But I'm not guilty. Why the hell why you want me to cop a plea, but and I'm not guilty? No, man, I ain't doing that. We know that, they said. But you'll get less time if you cop. And we're not liking the way the jury is looking, Rob. We're not liking it, okay? It's 8 white jurors and 4 blacks. It's not looking good. Well, I'm liking the way the jury looking, okay? I think they believe, listen, I don't think those people want me to go to jail, okay? I'm not about to sit here and cop no plea, man. I'm not doing none of that shit, dog. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but nah. The prosecutors are offering you a deal, man, okay? They offering you a deal. That means only 8 months in jail, Rob. Listen here, okay? If the jury is looking to be against me, why is the prosecutor looking to deal? Okay? Why they trying to make a deal with me? Why the prosecutor is trying to do that if the jurors is already against me? Okay, that don't make sense, man. It can't happen. You can't have it both ways. Look, Rob, okay? You do what you want to do. But I gotta tell you, I'm extremely nervous, man. 8 months isn't bad, man. Look, Rob, 8 months is not a lifetime. You can do this time, man. What's bad? What's bad? Listen, my name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, okay? Robert Sylvester Kelly, I'm not guilty of none of this shit, dog. I'm sorry. Okay? Is even one day different than 8 months for an innocent man? I'm not doing none of that, man. Listen here. What's bad is 7 years. The 7 years that I've had this court case hanging over my head. These long 7 years of this people saying evil things to me. People making me guilty when I'm an innocent man. That's what's bad. 1 day in jail means that I copped to those charges. 1 day in jail means I did everything that they said I did. Man, I'm not going for that. How can I ever, my career, how can I ever get behind this? It never will. I'm not doing 8 months. 8 months is better than 15 years though, Robert. Listen, I'm not doing it. My business manager mentioned me into, he motioned me to come in here. Hey, man, come here, Rob. Let me talk to you over here, man. Rob, I think the judge is against you. The jury, I believe they're going to follow whatever the judge going to do, okay? I think you should take this deal. Man, I snapped on his ass so quick and said, listen here. Man, don't you ever go against me. I got God with me. I got my gut instinct telling me to do what's right. I don't need you to tell me to cave in. I'm not giving in to no goddamn plea. I'm not doing that. He kept quiet as we went back into the room with the other lawyers. One of them asked me, you made your decision, Robert? I'm not copping. I'm not copping to no plea. I'm not copping to nothing, flat out. Just do the job I'm paying you to do, period. Then we will. But don't say we didn't warn you. Before that moment, when people asked if I was afraid, I say no. Just a little scared. That's it. My attorney's words, though, put fear in my heart. I ain't gonna lie. They did. Yet, my faith was still there. Faith got me to sleep through the night before the trial. Faith got me up in the morning. Faith got me dressed to go to the courtroom on time. Faith got me to stick to my decision. No deal, period. My lawyers managed to show that some of the witnesses who testified against me were angry at me for personal reasons that had nothing to do with the case. They was mad because I ain't call them back. Mad because they want to have my baby. Mad because I ain't buying my Birkin bag. Mad because I ain't pay their bills. Mad because I ain't get their nappy weaves done. Mad because I ain't pay their mama's doggone car note. Some of the witnesses contradicted themselves in their testimony, which made it hard for the jury to believe their asses. You can't go trying to say this man did A and B when you stealing from him. When you got your daughter coming back to the house when you say this man is a rapist. You can't do that. Lisa. All of the witnesses who had testified against me, everyone was angry at me for personal reasons. that had nothing to do with the case. One claimed I had promised him a recording deal. Well, goddamn it, that's what's going on now. Another one was mad that I didn't loan him money. Yeah, friends, how many of us have them? Each was on some bullshit. Each was looking for his 15 minutes of fame up on that damn stand. My attorney, Ed Jensen, with his expert cross-examination, caught many of them in a web of contradictions. Well, caught them all. I'm going to say all. In a web of contradictions. I knew my case was strong, but when the prosecutor stood and gave her closing argument, man, she was really strong. She had she had me believing some of the shit she was saying. She almost had me believing I was guilty, okay? That's how strong her shit was. She painted me as the most dangerous man on earth. She was downright brutal. I figured though, that was her job. That was her damn job. She was there to make me look like a pedophile, a criminal, a monster. Excuse me. Tomorrow, she be in another courtroom, though, calling some other dude the most dangerous man in the world, I thought. Next, the closing argument by one of my lawyers. Man, I prayed for him to be as persuasive as that damn prosecutor. Man, come on now, don't you, hey, come on now, you. And he was great. The juror was instructed to deliberate, so we waited. An hour, then 2, then 4, then 6, man, then 7.5 hours later, we were told the verdict had been reached. Back to the courtroom, back to my seat, surrounded by my legal team. Oh my God. The wait wasn't over. The judge hadn't returned to the courtroom. Meanwhile, I was sweating from here to Wazoo. Then out of nowhere, a man handed me a card from his cigarette shop. He whispered in my ear, "Oh, you love stogies, and we'd love to have you out to try some of the merchandise." I gave him a half a smile. I wasn't sure what his gesture meant. I told my attorney what had just happened and asked him if that was a good sign. Yes, he said, but he wasn't smiling. Finally, the judge entered and called for the jury. As they walked in, I watched their faces, count for count. The judge asked the chief juror what they had found. I heard the words "not guilty" spoken 12 times. Not guilty on every count. Over and over again, I said, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus." The policeman in the courtroom, oh my God. The policeman in the courtroom who, up until the verdict had been read, acted like real hard asses though. Okay, they were now smiling and shaking my hand. I felt the world was hugging me. Heaven was hugging me. Someone from MTV managed to snag an interview with my attorney immediately after the trial. My lawyer broke it all down, explaining exactly why the jury found me not guilty. The prosecution's star or surprise witnesses never took the stand, including the woman the prosecution believed to be the woman in the tape. I repeat, because we got so many stories going around saying this person took the stand. Let's get this clear here. It's in this book, The Soulacoaster, in black and white. The prosecution's star or surprise witness never took the stand, including the woman that the prosecution believed to be the woman in the tape. In spite of her deposition to the contrary, the Chicago Times Sun reporter Jim Derogatis, who broke the story and was the first to receive the supposed sex tape, took the fifth and refused to testify. Why, Jim? Why, oh, why would your fat ass not testify? Instead, jurors had to rely on testimonies of con men and hustlers. He specifically mentioned one individual, the fiance of the state's key witness. Can someone say kangaroo zombie? In an attempt to solicit a payoff from me. So you too, Miss Be Careful What You Do to Me, wanted a payoff. Oh my God. He is an absolute extortionist and tried to extort me personally, my attorney told MTV. I was angry about that. I am upset about that. I went down there and they absolutely hit me up for $350,000 that Mr. Kelly was supposed to pay. My Lord. As for me, I was too emotional to give any interviews. After the verdict was read, I went to the bathroom and I broke down and I cried. I had to share that moment with my mother in heaven. I could feel her crying alongside me. The moment one flood of tears ended, I bursted into another. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't stop thanking God. I couldn't stop thanking God as I left the courtroom. Tears started flowing freely as people blew kisses, slapped me on the back, congratulated me, and wished me well. I was so dazed, I felt like I had been kidnapped. When I got to my car, my boys snatched me inside. Marvin Sapp, the gospel great, was blasting on the radio, singing a song I've sung at my shows. I never would have made it. Praising the one and only God who saw me through. Within minutes, my phone was blowing up. Everybody was calling. Everybody was, man, you all right, man? We love you, man. People who had testified against me were calling to apologize. These was calling to apologize, to say they really didn't mean it. They really didn't want it. Would you please forgive me, Rob? I'm sorry. I testified. I know I did all of that, but please forgive me, man. Please, man, I'm sorry. I ain't mean to go against you, man. Did I forgive them? Did I forgive them? Yes, I forgave everybody. I just wanted to get back to my normal life. That's it. I didn't want nothing. Just, hey, man, I don't hold no grudges, okay? Where do you want to go to now, my crew asked. McDonald's, I said. I got to get me a double cheeseburger and fries. Flat out, man, I need to feel my mother's presence. I don't have time for these fake ass. Get me to a comfort space, man, please. Victory. My dream was about to finally come true. I've been invited to Africa, and now, after the trial with my passport restored, the time was right. My first trip to Africa was in July of 2009, a year after the trial. It was monumental for me. I was invited to perform at 2 VIP concerts at the close of the Arise of Africa Fashion Awards, an annual event that spotlights up-and-coming African fashion designers. It was an experience like no other. My African fans came out in droves to the concert. They was from Cape Town, Johannesburg, and Nigeria. Most fans there had grown up listening to my music but had never seen me, okay? Because the visit was a long time coming, man, I was overwhelmed by raw, pure love. The last time I had that feeling was back when I was street performing. My first visit to Africa reminded me of the time when there was no pressure to live up to a megastar's image, to live up to R. Kelly. African people just accepted me and loved me without really even knowing me. It was one of the highlights of my career and the beginning of a relationship that would help me define the global significance of my music. While there, I felt like Ali. Man, I felt like jogging up the streets, those stairs, and just with the kids behind me. I just wanted to have that feeling. Man, they blessed my life. For 2 days, I ran drills and I trained in the South African Army. Night after night, fans sang my songs. Man, it was just wow. I met Winnie Mandela, and she took me out on a tour too. I was invited to Nelson Mandela's house, which had more security than an airport, okay? They was not playing. I was humbled and honored to meet such a great man. Madiba, as he is called by the people of South Africa, was surrounded by many of his grandchildren and children. One of his great granddaughters, Zanidia, was a fan of mine and wouldn't let me out of her sight. When I sat down at the piano to sing my song, Soldier's Heart, you stood on the front line. You led the way. Right out of the darkness, you could have let us go astray. You were ready to die for our sake. That takes a soldier's heart, and dedicated it to her grandfather. Zanea, I may be pronouncing it wrong, I apologize, sat right next to me on the piano bench. Man, she was everywhere I went, she was there. Beautiful woman. Meanwhile, back in the States, I released my ninth studio called Untitled in 2008. Man, I had originally planned to release it on 12 play, fourth quarter, but when all of the material leaked, okay, it got leaked out on the internet. I don't know how, maybe with all the stuff going on, somebody got a hold of my music and they leaked it on the internet. Same thing they done did again. Snakes and snakes. Man, oh man. I had no choice but to scrap up the idea and start from scratch, man. I had to just start all over, try to memorize what I, had on the last and just try to just start over. In the meantime, a management associate suggested that I release my first mixtape for the streets, to tide fans over while I, start, trying to recapture all that I had lost. That's how the demo tape, Gangsta Grillas, remixes, of popular R&B and hip hop standards and some of my original work came to be. Excuse me, I played a lot of that at Tony G's birthday party. I got that playlist open to the public, so you guys can go on there and play that playlist, and you will hear a lot of this, the demo tape, Gangsta Grills. This Gangsta Grills, not Gorillas. You can hear, like, it's a lot of that on that playlist. It goes on to say, it was also around the time that I was approached by Clive Davis to work with Whitney Houston, okay, on her comeback album. Man, I did 2 songs for the album, and one of them was called I Look to You. Man, that was the first single release and a #1 hit for Whitney. I was ecstatic about doing this song for her. The Untitled album debuted in 2009, and It reached number 4 on the Billboard 200 charts with a big club hit called Super High, featuring OJ the Juice Man. Carrie Hilson and I sang number 1. That was another smash hit. Untitled was a sexy record, okay? It was, where many of the songs like Echo, had me, yodeling, you know what I'm saying? It took me into a new vocal directions. I mean, what the hell? Miss McLean put a lot in me, okay? So, I also produced a song called Pregnant, okay? It blended my voice with Tyrese. That's my little brother. I love him. Robin Thicke and The Dream. When I wrote it, I was thinking of how Quincy Jones had done something similar with Barry White, El DeBarge, Albie Shore, and James Ingram, with the Secret Garden, I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could do something just as lush and beautiful. For me, Untitled is still an undiscovered jewel. I don't think it got to be the kind of promotion, I don't think it got the kind of promotion it deserved. You know what I'm saying? People really kind of, they kind of slept on it a little bit. And I admit I did, okay, but not now. Soon after the release of Untitled, though, my longtime consultant and producer of Trapped in the Closet, Ann Carley, told me that FIFA, which is the international association that governs world soccer, was looking for submissions for a special album being created for the 2010 World Cup games, which were to be held, you got it, in South Africa. The first time a World Cup match would be played on the continent of Africa. Wow, history being made. So they were also looking for 3 special songs to represent the games, okay? They wanted a song for the World Cup mascots theme, the closing ceremony song, and finally the official anthem of the 2010 World Cup. And suggested I write and submit something. So, hey, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do just that. She warned me, though, okay? She warned me that it was a long shot. So, hey, you know what to do. That every artist in the world was trying to get one of those slots. And that even though I had been found innocent in the case, many corporate brands might still shy away from, associating with me. But I didn't care because I know I got God on my side, okay? And I know at the end of the day, I am an innocent man. So with my basketball mentality, right, I can get really competitive, okay? I don't let things get in my goddamn way when I make my mind up to do something. The opportunity to have my song considered as an anthem for the World Cup games, man, I wasn't thinking about none of what Ann was talking about, okay? And the fact that it was a long shot, man, that got my adrenaline pumping overtime. I'm like, come on, bring it on, because y'all gonna regret it. I went to the bookstore and I bought every book and DVD it had on soccer and immersed myself in all the research. I watched soccer on TV and I ran drills with the Chicago Fire Soccer Club, which was one of the U.S. teams, to better get a feel for the game and know, the positions and everything like that. I watched a Clint Eastwood film starring Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon, about how Nelson Mandela used rugby to help unite the people of South Africa during the 1995 Rugby World Cup game. I didn't want to write a song that had just been, a soccer, just about soccer or the World Cup. I wanted it to be bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted it to be something, the people can have to believe in, you know what I'm saying, to see in themselves and to be identifiable. I believe music can guide us into a world of peace. I wanted a song that could speak to humanity on a global scale. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be globally, not just about one thing. I dug deep inside to find something that could or would inspire people like I Believe I Can Fly had done. It inspired millions of people, in the same way that I Believe I Can Fly wasn't just about basketball. I wanted another song that explored the known as well as the unknown. Okay, we we know we were missing love in this world, so that's all my music is about. It's about loving, whether it's loving for one night or loving forever. My music is about loving. We know we need to love. We need love to survive, but we don't know how to get there all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my music comes in and help, instrument that. And God knows it have in my life. Okay. Cause Sunday, all right. Woo. I searched for words that spoke to the healing possibilities of love. Keep in mind now, my trial and my victory was still fresh in my mind. I've always said that the depth of my struggle will determine the height of my success. If there's no fire, there's no scream. If there's no scream, no one will hear you or help you. No contentment has struggled more than Africa. No, I'm sorry. No continent has struggled more than Africa, especially South Africa. And Sign of a Victory is a testament to that struggle. It's about what Africa has been through, what is going through, and mainly what Africa will overcome. Here are the lyrics, guys. I can feel the spirit of the nations, and I can feel my wings riding the winds. Yeah, I see the finish line just ahead now. I can feel it rising deep within, and that's the sign of a victory. They got pictures of him here in Africa. These are very nice. Let me show y'all right quick. These are some of the pictures here. Oh, I ain't ignoring y'all. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. But if I look at y'all, I'm going to get off my square. Parts of the rules for the World Cup anthem was that the song include a performance by an African artist or group. As this was a massive global event that would shine the spotlight of the world on Africa. They wanted to make sure that the local African talent got some of that glow as well. Wonderful. I reached out to my label in South Africa and asked them if they could help me find a choir to sing on the track. They introduced me to a South African gospel choir, the Soweto Spiritual Singers. After watching some performance footage and listening to their music, I knew they would be perfect. The song would not be complete without their unique gospel touch, so I arranged to record it with their choir. The syndicated percussion beats, combined with a chorus of heavily African voices, gave the song a stamp of authenticity. I was humbled when Nukileka Bindazia, co-founder of the Soweto Spiritual Singers, described our effort. The song embodies the story of Africa, South Africa, hope, strength, and triumph over adversity. It is an uplifting message of victory. It blends American R&B and pop with Soweto Spiritual Singers, Zulu choral chants, and African musical influences. Although Sign of a Victory was custom made for the event, we want to wait several weeks before we find out if the song would even be accepted for the official album. I was blown away when I heard it was selected as the official anthem for the 2010 World Cup Games. It would also be the first track on Listen Up, the official 2010 FIFA World Cup album. Man, I felt like, instead of dominoes falling down, things were starting to go the other way. It was dominoes up. A sign of victory was the first domino to stand. The opening ceremonies for the World Cup were scheduled for June 20th, 2010 at the newly built Soccer Center Stadium in Johannesburg. Artists from the album, along with more than 1,500 other artists, dancers, singers, praise poets, drummers, and flag bearers, were invited to perform at the opening ceremony. I was to have to I was to have the honor of performing the official anthem and was excited about my trip to Africa and the opportunity to get another taste of the unconditional love I had experienced a year earlier. I wasn't sure who'd be there to greet me though, okay, when my plane touched down. My hopes were high though, okay? But I just didn't know if my African fans cared enough to come greet me at the airport. Well, they showed up by the thousands. Newspaper accounts put the numbers up at 10,000. Getting off the plane and seeing the sea of beautiful black faces looked biblical to me. Man, I was in tears. I couldn't help it. I know y'all, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm mama's boy, flat out. And things, I'm not afraid to show my emotions on something, especially on something like this. It was just, it was beyond my control anyway. I dove into the crowd so my spirit would, go out to the people, period. So when I finally made it to the car, man, I jumped on the roof so my fans could see me as I popped my fist in the air. Gave them the black power, okay? I love going where I'm celebrated, not just tolerated. And this trip to Africa, man, it was a straight up celebration. The day before the World Cup opening, I attended the FIFA or FIFA fan feast in Cape Town with the executive manager Dan Plato. They wanted us to take part in this special celebration for Nelson Mandela. So during the Grand Parade World Cup welcoming ceremony, I stood beside Plato when he stepped out on the balcony of Cape Town City Hall, right? Above tens and thousands of fans, this was the same balcony from which Mr. Mandela made his first speech upon release from prison in 1990. Wow. We were there to light the caldron that symbolizes the everlasting light provided by Mr. Mandela's legacy. I felt very honored to be the first to light the eternal flame with the mirror. Once it was lit, with arms outstretched and with the beautiful lyrical African accent, Plato shouted, "Can you feel it?" The crowd cheered wildly. After the lighting of the eternal flame, we went to the stage area where I had been asked to sing "I Believe I Can Fly." Now, I really didn't have an opening song planned for the occasion, but the mirror's words, "Can you feel it?" kept repeating in my head, so I couldn't let them down. The Soweto spiritual singers went on before me, and they were singing a wonderful chorus with incredibly addictive beat. The air was filled with the sound of all kind of music, an African horn, almost like a supersized kazoo that gives off piercing, majestic, and some saying sound. The sound of music became the soundtrack for the entire trip, as it's used for celebrations, sporting events, any kind of occasion where people are expressing joy and excitement. From backstage, I asked the choir to continue singing out of rhythm when I took the stage. They did just that. I walked off on stage singing, "Can you feel it?" And again, the crowd went wild. I quickly slid in, "I believe I can fly." And the place erupted. I mean, they were going crazy. It was truly humbling to see these people from the very young to the very old on a continent so far from Chicago singing my song. And they knew every word. While I was singing Fly, in the back of my head, the lyrics for Can You Feel It were forming. I was on stage singing one song while mentally scribbling another. I told one of our camera crew to make sure he got the opening of my performance so that I could have the recordings for my reference. You know, I like to do that sometimes. I like to keep the recordings, you know, of what I do things just so I can see, you know what I mean? Just so I can capture those moments. I promised myself that I'd complete that song once I got home, and I did. More than 85,000 fans were screaming, waving. 8,500,000 fans were screaming, blowing all type of favelas when I arrived at the soccer stadium for the opening ceremonies of the World Cup. It seemed like everyone was in accord, showing me great love. They were soccer fans from all over the world, each representing their country and their favorite team. Especially excited were the South African fans, rooting for their national team, Bafana Bafana, who were competing in this first match against Mexico. Nelson Mandela himself would be in the crowd, and Joanne Kelly's son would be performing Sign of a Victory. With this great man in the audience, who would ever thought? Who would ever thought? The energy of the crowd shot into me like electricity. There's just no other way to describe it, man. I cannot describe it no other way. It was like fire shut up in my bones. The crowds, all this love, all this energy, the very spirit of Africa electrified my senses all at once, man. I felt supercharged. As I was on my way to the dressing room beneath the stadium where I was to change and wait for my cue to the ceremony, a few people from the group I had been traveling with, they came running towards me. Somehow I could read their spirit, though. I could, they were bringing bad news. Okay, I'm like, I could see it, which I didn't want to hear, man. I just didn't. I couldn't. I just, especially before my performance, I didn't want to hear nothing. I tried to get to them to restrain them and hold off to whatever they was about to say and whatever they was about to tell me, but the bad news couldn't wait. Zanaya has been killed in a car accident, they said. Zanaya is gone. Man, the words went through my heart like a bullet. But there was nothing I could do. I couldn't do nothing but go on the field. When the crowd saw me, the screaming and the valelas went crazy. The sound was like a gigantic swarm of bees dressed in all black, but for a gold hood, dressed in all black, but for a gold hood and sneakers, backed by the powerful Soweto spiritual singers. I began the performance in a crouch position. I stood and sang the most powerful rendition of Sign of a Victory that I could muster. I sang for Zanaya and her great-grandfather. I sang for all the grandfathers and grandmothers, all the fathers and mothers, the brothers and the sisters who have lost somebody that they have loved. I sang for all the 85,000 people in the stadium that day and the 2 billion people waiting and watching around the world. I sang love for itself. This him, a picture of him in Africa. Ooh, Mr. Kelly. Hands across the world. Music can be the calm after a deadly storm, delivering comfort was the reason I released the single Let Your Light Shine in 2006 as a tribute to the victims and the survivors of Hurricane Katrina, and Rise Up in 2007 after I heard about the massacre of innocent students at Virginia Tech. I came back from Africa with a deeper understanding of myself and a strong desire to do more with my music. What dwells within me is global, and my music speaks all languages. I became obsessed with the idea of world peace and accomplishing it through brotherhood of music. Music will pave the way. This was the motivation behind Epic, an album of my inspirational records. The world's greatest, If I Can Turn Back the Hands of Time, If I'm Your Angel, and I Believe I Can Fly. It also included few new ballads. Among them were Can You Feel It? The song I heard in my head while performing in Cape Town, and The Sign of a Victory. I decided to include a couple of songs from the Africa album in this collection as well. The prelude, Heal It, and the song Victory both fit perfectly with the album's inspirational theme. Fireworks was another song inspired by the World Cup. I wrote and recorded it the day I got back and got the news about the Sign of Victory being chosen as an official anthem. In my mind, I could truly see fireworks of the ceremony. My joy is recorded in that song. I believe was inspired by the election of Barack Obama as President of the United States. The song came to me when I saw he was running for office. Usually, I write inspirational songs. I see myself as a hero trying to save people with my music. As my involvement with Africa deepened, I had a strong desire to work with more African artists, to explore African talent, to strengthen my connection with Africa, the homeland. It didn't take long for that desire to become reality. A few months after the World Cup ceremonies, I was approached by representatives from Rockstar 4000 slash Sony Music Africa Artel. They asked if I'd participate in the 1-8 project. The concept was to create the first Pan-African supergroup to be formed by 8 of the biggest artist groups from across Africa. I was asked to be the one in the 1-8. They were looking for a well-known international artist to lead his or her name to help expose African music and talent to audiences across Africa and around the world. I was asked to write and produce a song with a group of superstars from all over the African continent. Amani from Kenya, Two-Face from Nigeria, Navio from Uganda, JK from Zambia, Alagba from Tanzania, 4x4 from Ghana, and Movialing from Gabon, and Fali Ilapa Epapa from Kanja, DRC. I'm so sorry, guys. I know I did not get that pronunciation correct on most, but I did my best. My goal was to produce a song that rang out all over the world. When I sing with everything I've been through. I sing with everything I've been through. The song needed to be something that would convince people of all colors and all nationalities that they could come together out of poverty and overcome whatever problems they're dealing with, that they can fly too. I hadn't met any of these artists before attempting to write their songs. All I had was video messages and samples of their music that they had sent me. Each artist had a unique style and characteristics. It was a true challenge. It really was. But I live for challenges, especially those that keep me growing as a singer, a writer, a songwriter, and a music producer. After getting a handle on their individual styles, we arranged to have all the artists flown into Chicago to record Hands Across the World. Wow, isn't that something? I've never heard this before. The song I created for the record label probably didn't want to put too much publicity on this because it was going to probably empower us a little too much. The song I had created for the 1-8 project. Usually when I work with American artists, I have some idea of their musical range, what they can do or cannot do. I also know when they're being real and not so real. I know when these motherfuckers being fake. With the 1-8 artists, everything was real. It was just all these people was genuine. They didn't have no facades. They didn't have no superficial fake image to portray. Everything was real. I love having fun with my music. I also love working with different people, different genres of music, different talents and gifts. It helps stretch my talents and abilities, okay? Africa to America, everywhere, come on and spread some love. We got faith and a little hope. I believe that we can heal the globe. It's time to open our eyes and see that's all we need is you and me. Unity's like harmony. So let me see you stretch your hands across the world. Hands across the world. I'm reaching out to the poor people, the sick and the alone. I'm reaching out to the fortunate who can build their own homes. I'm reaching out to the ones who seem to have lost their way. And I'm calling on the ones who can show them a brighter day. I will be forever humbled by the soul-to-soul connections with members of my African family. I consider my continuing African experience among the highest highs of my Soulacoaster. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Miss McLean. Thank you, God. I want my songs to go beyond what I've wrote it for and perhaps touch people all around the world and inspire. It's extra special doing it here in South Africa, more special than anyone else, he said, because I believe that humanity, the spirit of people, and DNA all started right here in Africa. And then he had a picture. He has a picture of Miss McLean. It's a beautiful picture here of her. I got to show y'all. It's a pretty picture of Miss McLean. This chapter here is called Love Letter. I think I got about a couple more pages to go. Love Letter. Let me get a sip of water, y'all. Excuse me. With my music, I'm always switching lanes, making U-turns, going forward to new destinations, or traveling backwards to familiar places. I don't resist the journey. I feel like I have this musical time machine that I can just get in and travel anywhere I want to. With my time machine, I can stay rooted in the music that made me, while creating songs based on current experiences and inspirations. It feels good knowing that people depend on you to come up with songs that make them want to make love, to get on the dance floor, or to be better fathers, mothers, men, and women. But all this fame, fortune, and media attention, I'm also struck with the thought that this is an awesome responsibility. This is why it's important for artists to tap into their spirit of music. Every now and then, it's important to tap into the spirit of the greats so we can extend their legacies. Hopefully, you know somebody, someday, will be in the studio trying to tap into the musical spirit of R. Kelly. That's what this whole thing is about. It's the power of music. Generation after generation, music is God's miracle channeled through his children who expresses his gift. Our job is to just keep the miracle of music alive, express it to the best of our ability, and pass it on to those who follow. My legacy is important to me. After I'm gone, I want to be remembered for my music and the way my music touched people around the world. I want to be remembered as a songwriter, a singer, a performer, a producer, and a good father. And honestly, I want to be remembered as one of the most versatile artists of my era. All this was on my mind when I decided to produce my next album, Love Letter. It had gotten to the point where every time I switched on the radio, I hear my sounds and riffs. Motherfuckers trying to sound like me. I was flattered, but also concerned. This new generation, unfamiliar with my original work, might think I'm copying. They got it all backwards. These new kids, they don't know I'm the one who laced these niggas' shoes. They coming. I'm not following them. They following me. They might think I'm copying what they hear on the radio, when in reality, I would just be doing me. I didn't want Love Letter to go to the future because I didn't want to get ahead of myself. I didn't want to stay, where I was. I didn't want to look to the side and see another version of my current self. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do something different. Instead, I got into my musical time machine and I set the dials to take me back to the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s. Take me back 20, 30, 40 years, forget it, We all can't be on the radio sounding the same. When I landed, I found myself hanging out with Sam Cooke and Jackie Wilson. Spiritually and musically, I shook hands with them, soaked in their essence. They became my teachers, my fathers, uncles, and big brothers. I put myself in their time zone, and when I returned to the present, I brought an armful of new and exciting goodies. I dedicated and decided that Love Letter was to be the concept album, an entire CD unified by the theme of love. I love doing concept albums more than any other type of album. They are the ones that allow me to, get in a way like I could dress it up, musically I could dress up. It's not a freestyle situation. You see what I'm saying? I set boundaries for myself, and the music, it must stay within those lines. Love has never failed, and it never will. It has won every battle today and forevermore. Love will go undefeated all the time. With Love Letter, every song had to be about love. Old-fashioned LOVE. So I programmed myself musically to come up with love-filling tracks, songs both romantic and sexy, but yet classy, like back in the day. I had to set the proper mood in the studio. Okay, on my big screen TV, I projected pictures of, like Ray Charles and Marvin Gaye. I wanted to see their faces so I can feel their energy. I wanted them with me as I wrote songs and practiced lyrics and laid down tracks. I knew these men, like all men, had their struggles, though. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that once I tapped into their spirit, it can get me through this album and produce it just the way I wanted and how I saw it. They went through trials and tribulations, but through it all, okay? They had a heart for their music. The things they went through, that music, it never, you know, it never took away from their music and a love for the people. That love shined through every song they sang, okay? I had that same heart for music, that same love for people. I didn't want to be R. Kelly or Kells or the Pied Piper or R&B or the Weatherman. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be the Pied Piper of R&B or the Weatherman. I wanted you to feel the mama's boy inside of me. I wanted you to feel Robert. I wanted the sweetest part of my soul to touch the sweetest part of yours. I saw the album as an actual body of songs. One arm, then another arm, then a head, a leg, another leg, a foot, another foot, a nose, a smile, two smiling eyes, not just a collection of individual songs. I conceived Love Letter as one long single, a letter filled with heart, tears, and passion on each page. I hadn't originally planned for Love Letter to be my next album. As I often do, I was working on material for 2 albums at the same time. Love Letter and the project that I thought would be up next was Zodiac. It's a continuation of the 12 play concept. I even came up with a new name for that album. It was gonna be called January's Boy because I'm a Capricorn, okay? But then a song so powerful came to me in the studio that it took over, and there could be no question that it was going to be my next record. That song, When a Woman Loves. Man, it was the first single. Just as a righteous woman is the backbone of a man, a woman's true love can be the backbone of an album. After all, a woman's love, actually 2 women's, Joanne Kelly and Lena McLean, made me who I am. In Love Letter, I'm singing about the love that comes from a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. I'm singing about the love that comes from your fiance, your wife, your daughter, and your granddaughter. It's the kind of love that keeps on going and growing. I don't even consider When a Woman Loves a song, really. It's like the heart that keeps the body alive. Singing it was challenging because it was written in the mode of Jackie Wilson. Like so many of the great artists back then, Jackie had a powerful voice. He belted out every note. He cried out every lyric. There was no half-stepping with Jackie, okay? Sam Cooke was my spiritual soulmate. As I wrote, drop down on your knees, please, for a woman's affection. I love that style, and I believe it's what's missing in songs heard on the radio today. Love Letter brings powerful styles and that heart and soul connection back into the mainstream. And that's something that they don't want to happen right now because they want us to sing about WAP. Okay. Radio Message is a story set in the 50s before using cell phones, texting, and tweeting became the norm. It's about a guy who did his girl wrong and wants to make up. Okay? He's writing her, but she won't write back. He gets this crazy idea, okay? He heard about a contest that the radio station is running. The next caller on the line gets 2 tickets and a limo ride to a concert. He knows his girl loves the radio and figures if he's the next caller, he can plead his case on the air. Maybe she'll be listening. So he makes this desperate attempt, and sure enough, his call gets through. He gets to plead his case in the form of a song, crying, "This is a message to my baby." And I'm begging her to come back, come back. Ooh, y'all, ooh, you know that's the shit. Number one hit is a song that compares a lady to a smash hit. Having been blessed with so many number one hits, I know the tremendous adrenaline rushes. I know the tremendous adrenaline rush that comes with your very own top of the chart winner. So I wanted to compare that feeling to falling in love. That's why I said we went past gold. Our love blew up. I saw that she is my I sang rather that she is my Elvis and my Priscilla, my Michael Jackson's Thriller, Smooth Operator by Sade, and baby, let's not forget the 12 play. Yes, you my Titanic, my movie star, my Coming to America, my Avatar. Avatar, by the way, is a movie I've seen about 6 times. It gets better each time. Not Feeling the Love was written for Michael Jackson. We lost him before he could sing it. So on Love Letter, I'm singing it to Michael, for Michael. In truth, he could never leave us. Michael Jackson is a permanent part of our lives. His music is so deep in us that nothing can erase it. The highlight of my career so far is working with Michael. I'm humbled by the fact that I had the opportunity to work with the greatest man ever to touch the mic. The best way I can express my love for Michael Jackson is to make sure my music honors his legacy. Marvin Gaye is also present on 2 different songs. When you talk silky, you're talking Marvin Gaye, baby. But when you're talking about hunting perfect harmonies, Marvin put harmonies on top of harmonies. Even when his life was filled with disharmony, when he got to the studio, everything became harmonious. In the studio, what was crazy turned sane. What was ugly turned beautiful. What was hurtful turned healing. In the studio, God took over. I have to have that feel good Motown vibe. So I wrote Love Is and sang it like Marvin singing to Tammy Terrell. My Tammy is K. Michelle, singer, songwriter, and my mentee. K. Michelle and I play catch with me melody, and neither of us ever drops the ball. The deeper Marvin moment comes with music. Music must be a lady. For years I've said that I'm married to music and that I'm pregnant with it. You know, remember they tried to make it out like he was saying something else when he said this. Okay, let me get back in here. Music has been the one girl I would never leave and the one woman who would never leave me. Music lays out melodies for me like my mother used to lay out my clothes. Yes, sir. Music must be a lady. I know that in writing Love Letter, God once again took over. He gave me this gift, and he demands that I not take it for granted. Love Letter received 3 Grammy nominations, including Best R&B Album and Best Traditional R&B Performance for both When a Woman Loves and Radio Message. My life story, with all the challenges and rewards, has been one long love letter. God knew it was time for Robert to use his love and be real with his gift. Dominoes up. Sometimes I feel like an alien born on a planet called music, when there's nothing but sound. Sometimes, even in the midst of thousands, I still feel alone. Because no one, including me, understands my mind, my creativity, how I'm hardwired. I've been very honest about my inability to read words like normal people. I simply don't see words. I swear I don't. I only see music. I'm okay with that. It's part of the gift. I'm so grateful that my incredible children have not been with my problem, afflicted with my problem. They all can read and write better than their father. I'm so very proud of them. When I was asked if I considered myself a genius, I say, no, I can't call myself a genius, but I'm on my way. I feel like I haven't been fully introduced to my gift. I always feel like there's something bigger and better out there for me. It's like I'm stuck on a runway waiting for the best flight ever. In countless interviews, people ask me, if you can go back and change anything in your life, what would it be? My answer, not a damn thing. I wouldn't change the poverty. I wouldn't change the abuse or the pain. Even though I've had some struggles and some downfalls in my life, I'm still standing. I'm strong, confident, and feeling good about life and love. I have no regrets whatsoever, simply because whatever I've gone through has made me the man and artist I am today. Chapters in my life continue to unfold, revealing mysteries I've never known about myself. Just as I was finishing this book, the strangest thing happened one late, juicy Tuesday night in Chicago. I had just finished hooping and was feeling pretty good. My team had won about 20 games in a row. I noticed two middle-aged, neatly dressed women. I had never seen them before. They was approaching the court. I was recovering from emergency surgery to remove an abscess the size of a golf ball on my throat. A situation that, had it gone untreated for another 24 hours, could have destroyed my voice forever or even killed me. The women read about my hospitalization in the papers and drove 4 hours just to check up on me. Shout out to them. The plot thickens though. The women who I had never seen before in my life claim to be my aunts. Yeah, they claim to be sisters of the father I had never known and was told had abandoned me and my mother when I was born. That's interesting. The women had different versions of the story. My father, they said, was present at my birth. He dearly loved my mother and me. And they said he died when I was 2 years old. He was shot to death in a bar. Is any of this true? I have no idea, but I have to find out. It's another piece of the puzzle that is in me. Another trapped in a closet cliffhanger. Another twist and turn on the Soulacoaster that is in my life. As I write this, I begin yet another chapter in my life. I've came out of my suburban cocoon, moving out of my Olympia Fields home and up into a deluxe apartment in the sky. Every night I gaze down on Chicago, the beautiful city that raised and fed me, the skyscrapers that helped me hit some of my highest notes. The chocolate factory is no longer in my basement. It's bigger and better than ever and still my sanctuary. The chocolate factory keeps operating at full capacity. The R. Kelly 45 part of me feels like I'm just starting out. Like I'm still on the runway of my career, getting ready for takeoff. As always, I'm working on more than one project. I was thrilled to be asked to write new songs for the remake of the movie Sparkle and have my song stand next to Curtis Mayfield's classics. Write Me Back, the follow up to Love Letter, will be out by the time you read this book. It's me stepping back into my musical time machine and having a ball. I got to imagining that I was Barry White or, Teddy Pendergrass or maybe Ray Charles. There's some Smokey and Stevie in there too. As the radio in my head keeps playing and sending me different songs in all different genres, not just R&B, but also pop, rock, hell, and even country, don't be surprised if I get inspired to put out a country album, okay, someday. The alien that is trapped in the closet is also getting ready to visit Earth again. I know everyone wants to know what the package is. Get ready, you're about to find out. There are artists of all kinds knocking at my door looking for new music, new songs, asking me to drop a verse on their songs, or looking for remixes. I'm grateful that they've come to me and are giving me the opportunity to share their gifts. Ideas are lined up on the runway in my head like an airplane on at O'Hara. The minute one takes off, another one is ready to go. There's still so much I want to achieve. Movies that I write and direct, and of course, do all the music. One man Broadway show, and more music. Africa is calling, so is Europe. I love London as well as Paris. They're telling me Tokyo took the love letter to heart and wants me to sing it to them personally. I can't wait to get over there. I feel the same way about China and Russia and every other part of the world. The world needs healing, and yes, it do, especially after what we saw. And the music is the medicine that heals. Besides the Africa album, there are the Caribbean and the Latin and the Brazilian inspired tracks still sitting on the shelves at the Chocolate Factory. When I created them as part of my Music Virus project, I had this idea to give the music to people in the areas for free as a way to spread healing and inspiration. My record company, though, they wasn't extremely thrilled about that approach, but I'm determined to get that music out one way or the other, okay? Everything just can't be about music, money, and you gotta do it. I do this from my heart. I'm still amazed that healing music came my way in such quantities. I don't know why I received this gift. I can't say I deserve it. I know that I'm not immortal, but my gift is my legacy. It takes a whole lot of mess to be this blessed. I'm not here to win, but here to touch. Sometimes my gift is my enemy. My head is like an overinflated balloon filled with sounds that swell my brain to the extent that I fear it might explode. When it does explode, I find myself in a new and beautiful musical place. It's taken me a lifetime to know myself, but I think I'm almost there. I'm at my best when I'm most wanted, and I know the music lovers still want great music. I know that as long as people are living on this planet, and as long as they can relate to a real song about real life, I'll always be in the game. So it is as a happy man that I come to the beginning of this book. Note, I did not say the end, As far as I'm concerned, the solar coaster is just getting warmed up. It's been a crazy ride, but I know the best years are still ahead. I give thanks to the Creator for my life every day. It couldn't have gone either way. It really could have. That bullet I took while riding a bicycle as a kid could have been the end. Shame and disconnection because I couldn't read could have become my dead end. I have achieved what I have in this life because I was blessed with a gift and the love of two exceptional women who saw something in me I didn't see and couldn't see within myself. I have been knocked to my knees. I have been betrayed, humiliated. I have lost love and thrown it away. My heart has been broken and I have cried an ocean of tears. In the end, though, I am saved by music. I am saved by God. I am saved by God's gift of love. And if through my words and my music, I can pass on to you, I am the happiest man on earth, a boy born in Chicago's hood to a loving mother, has been blessed mightily. The boy became a man. The man faced a mountain of struggles, but the struggle steeled his determination. For all the storms behind him, the sun seems to always break through. There are sunrises ahead and still thousands of songs to write and sing. Songs that help us have fun and party all night. Songs that let us feel the undenying joy of love. Songs that lift our earthly burdens, and give us a little taste of heaven. Songs that call for harmony, peace, and humanity. The solar coaster soars to the top. The solar coaster roars to the bottom. But the boy holds on. The man holds on. He can't and won't let go. Believe in our struggle, even though I've had some struggles and some downfalls in my music and in my life. I'm still standing strong, confident, and feeling good about life and love. I have no regrets whatsoever, simply because whatever I've gone through has made me the man and artist I am today. Guys, it's your girl, the Sky Zone. I got to get myself together. I appreciate you all. Love you all. Thank you so much. Thank you for donations. Somebody left me a donation. Bless your heart. Thank you, guys. This book is so phenomenal. If you don't have it, please get it. If not, hey, guys, I love you all. Thank you. Happy New Year, guys. Peace.